Well, hey guys, what's going on out there this afternoon? Hey, it's Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. Hope you're having a great day so far. I'm here in the Southern California desert, Rancho Mirage, specifically the Mission Hills Country Club. And beautiful day here, as just about as always. Pretty darn lucky, pretty darn spoiled to be here. Anyway, what I've got for you today is a follow-up to what we worked on this morning over at What's the Right Shot, what's your plan A, and what I want to talk about is what it is and what it isn't. And yeah, so look, every morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, what's the right shot? And normally it's live. Once in a while it's not. It's a pre-record, like today's Tennis Mindset Project is a pre-record, but we go live on the morning, 8 a.m. Pacific. And look, if this is your first time with me, welcome. Thanks for finding me. What's the right shot is I cherry pick a point from a video that I took of either one of my matches or someone else's matches, singles or doubles, and I pick out that one point. And then right before one of the players is about to play their shot, I pause the video and ask you, what do you think is the right shot? And it helps you understand the game, how to play the game based on two premises. Number one, where do you want the ball to land over there, depending on where you are and depending on where your opponent is? And then how do you want to enhance the quality of that shot choice by where do you move to next on the court? Those two things. Yeah, you could work forever on swing tech, but it wouldn't get you to where you want to go nearly as quickly if you really start to learn how to play the game tactically through shot choice and next best court positioning. So look, let's talk about this, your tactical plan A, what it is and what it isn't. And what it isn't is this old thing about, well, today I'm just going to go out there and play my game, right? Or a coach says, hey, yeah, okay, you got a match coming. I just want you to go out there and play your game. Well, first of all, it's pretty hard for most players to define who they are on the court, right? What their game is. Then the big mistake that I used to make is that I used to be purely 100% of the time in both singles and doubles. I still do in doubles, but I used to be 100% of the time in singles, serve, volley, and chip and charge behind the second serve, if I could get to it, if I could, on the return to serve. So I was always trying to come in, always getting in, and for some players over there, they loved that because they were able to take my serve, they were able to knock it down at my feet, make me volley up, and then they could just kind of work the ball around from there as a two-shot mindset passing shot on their part. And I really had no plan B, if you will, to be able to handle those guys because I really had never practiced, well, how do you serve and stay back and eventually work your way in against this guy who wants to take your serve and wants to knock it down at your feet, or wants to take when you chip and charge behind their serve and knock it down at your feet, or whatever it is. So it took me a long time to go, well, just playing my game doesn't get the job done against everybody. Maybe it did against a lot of players, but there were enough players out there that eventually I sort of had this reputation, well, if you want to play against Brent, here's what you do. And more players started to do that, and I had to make some adjustments. And so for a long time, I kind of got a little stubborn on that. Just thought, well, maybe if I just get better at serve and volley, yeah, it didn't really move the needle. So look, eventually what I came to believe, and this was from advice that I got from other great coaches, and not advice, but just by observing the top players, what they do, and depending on who they were playing against that day, things would change. So here's what your plan A really needs to be. It's intel gathering, it's probing. What is it that you're discovering about that opponent over there, whether it's singles or whether it's doubles? And the first way to do it is if you're playing a tournament match and you know that you're playing so-and-so and you've never played against this player before, you've never seen them before. Well, the first thing you do is you go and you ask some people that you know, some players you know, do you know this guy? A couple guys go, yeah, no, don't know him. But once in a while you find someone who says, oh yeah, played against him a couple of years ago. And you say, well, what's he do really well? They say, well, he does this really well. Okay. And then at least you've got some intel gathering in terms of knowing, okay, well, if he's really good at that, at least I know that. Maybe I can adjust my plan A based on that knowledge. If you don't know this player and no one else does, when you go out on the court to warm up, you start to probe. You start to hit balls to the forehand. You start to hit balls to the backhand. You start to hit balls right back down the middle. And you're going to find out really what is their strength between those two, forehand and backhand. And you're also going to, if you hit balls right down the middle, you're going to see what their preference is. Oh, this guy runs around the backhand, likes to hit the forehand. Okay, in his mind, he feels more comfortable with the forehand. That must be his strength. So the first thing we're going to do once the match starts is we're just going to avoid it, right? So rather than going in the warm-up and thinking about, well, my plan A is, here's my game, I'm going to play my game. Oh my gosh, my big bomber forehand just doesn't feel great today. Now what do? Right? Or you look over there and go, oh my gosh, man, my big bomber forehand isn't quite as good as his big bomber forehand. Well, I hope it really shows up. That's just not a plan A, right? So you go into more avoiding, trying to probe and find out. And you might find this out right away, not only by intel gathering before the match, you might find it out in the warm-up, but within the first 2, 3, 4 games, you're going to find out what their strength is. And now the plan A for you is we're going to avoid that strength. You might then find, let's say their forehand's the big strength. All right, so we start working the ball over to the ad court if they're right-handed, right? And we see what their backhand does. Look, it could be average. Maybe it's a weakness. Maybe they've really sort of spent way more time just trying to develop a weapon on their forehand, hoping that they get a lot of forehands. Well, we're not going to give them a lot of forehands, right? We found a weakness over there. We're going to pick at it and pick at it and pick at it. Maybe it's average, though. Maybe it's not that bad. So now what we can start to do is not only have we maybe not found a real weak stroke, but maybe the contact zone on that average shot. Let's see if we can't move the contact zone, the contact point for them, up and down. And it could be that when you get the ball up, maybe you roll a forehand up or you roll a backhand up to their average, they just don't handle it well. Maybe you're better off sliding it with an underspin forehand or backhand down low, below their comfort zone with that contact point. You have to probe. Maybe it's a combination. Maybe what they don't like is up and down low and that kind of thing where you're sort of mixing it up, making them guess what's coming in next. Maybe it's court positioning. Maybe they move great side to side, but they don't move so well when you disguise another, whatever it is, a high or low ball, and you play a drop shot. Maybe they don't really like moving off of that baseline coming in and having to give you either a target for the next shot. If they do get to your dropper, giving you a target to where you can play an easy pass. Maybe it's not a pass. Maybe you play a lob over their backhand side, right? Maybe they're not in the best of shape, right? Maybe they're carrying around some extra weight, extra baggage, right? You're in great shape. We've already talked about forever about that's a controllable. Why wouldn't you want to be the fittest guy in the court on that day? Now you know, okay, well, this guy's got a good forehand, he's got a good backhand, but we're going to find a way to keep him out here as long as we possibly can, which means you're going to extend the points. I'm not saying you're pushing, but you're going to extend the points in terms of giving that opponent over there a high-quality shot from you that, worst case, keeps the point neutral, but extends the life of the point. You're going to take as much time as you can between points to just extend the life of the match and see if you can't work this guy down to a nub in terms of fitness. It could be something else. So you continue to do this in terms of your tactical plan A is what we just talked about above. Occasionally they're going to adjust. That's fine, and we will continue to probe at that point. Okay, well, let's see what we need to do now, and that's fine. So I just want to get out of your head. I want you to get out of your head that your plan A is what you think your play my game is, right? Look, I'm not saying that on that day that if your strength is X and your shot patterns are Y, if that's your strength, if your opponent's giving that to you, absolutely, let's go for it. Let's take advantage of that, right? I mean, that was the weakness I had. I would go out there and play my serve and volley stuff because that was my game. And you know what? It just fed into their game because that was their strength. And it took me too long to realize, wait a minute, this isn't working. I'm being way too stubborn, way too hard-headed on thinking that I'm going to keep force-feeding my serve and volley, my chip and charge into really what is their strength. And lost some matches that I felt like, how did I lose that? I'm telling you how it happened now. So look, guys, hope this has been helpful. I want to help you. If you want to really zero in on really how to handle some players, how to really probe more, let's do it. I do offer some on-court and also video conferencing coaching, some private one-on-one coaching. We can work on a number of things. Let's pick out really what the number one area of your game is right now. Could be mindset training. Could be really developing those 5 mindset skill habits that all competitive players need to have to really be able to bring out the best of their game over and over consistently. Maybe we do a little video stroke tech look at, right? Little analysis. And believe me, what I'm going to tell you to do is to probably minimize stuff, pare away the unneeded. Maybe it's tactical focus, shot choice, and court positioning based on what we just talked about today, based on your opponent. Fitness, if you need to drop some weight, if you need to get some tennis-specific fitness drills going, let's do that. Let's make you quick. Let's make you nimble. But at the same time, make sure that you can, if you need to, 2.5+ hours endurance so that you can grind yourself to a victory. If you want to find out what I've got to offer, just shoot me an email, brent@webtennis.com. What we'll do is we'll get on a free 15-minute video conference call, and you're going to tell me where you're at right now. You're going to tell me what your goal is, where you want to take your game to, and I'm going to show you how I think I can help you bridge those 2 levels, where you are, where you want to go to with a coaching program that I've got. And you right then and there can decide, you know what, this sounds really great. Let's go ahead and move forward. Or you might think, doesn't sound like a great fit. Absolutely cool. That's fine. But in the meantime, why not go ahead? Let's take a look at it. Brent@webtennis.com. Guys, hope this has been helpful today. As always, it's time. We got to get out there. We got to help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, see you again next time.